Welcome back, ladies and gents, here to ECS. It's time for Map 2 between Mousesports and NiP. Very important matches here today, as tomorrow the playoffs begin, and we're still deciding all the teams that will be making playoffs or who would actually be going just straight through to the LAN finals at Wembley. By the way, you can get your tickets at wembley.csgoleague.com if you haven't already. But it's time to talk about Map 2, which is Dust 2, which is a great map here for Mousesports and NiP. They've been looking better and better on it too.
Definitely the best map for Mousesports, in my opinion. Mostly so because chrisJ really seems to be comfortable on it. It's his favorite map, I think, and seeing as he is the main opera of the team, clearly a really influential player. So with that, and we saw that Nex was playing really well on Cobble. NiKo was doing pretty much his stuff, standard stuff that we're used to. I think this is a great chance for Mousesports to bounce back in this series.
Yeah, I mean, Mousesports is comfortable for them, but as I said, NiP have been playing better and better here. They've been trying to actually pick Dust 2 against a lot of teams. So how do you feel NiP are going to fare? What should we look out for here?
I mean, NiP looks solid in a lot of general vetoes that we're seeing at the moment, so I don't think they're going to be too concerned. But I mean, you do wonder if you're going to see, like, Mousesports have the capability to go for a double AWP setup again here with NiKo as well, depending on how they choose to use him or how he chooses to use himself on this map if he's still the in-game leader for the side. I mean, NiP threats, he wasn't there for their Dust 2 yesterday because he wasn't well, but he's definitely here today, so we should see a better NiP than we saw yesterday. So it's going to be difficult. I mean, yes, Mousesports should do good, but by no means is it a guarantee that they'll win. So it could still be a 2-0 here for NiP.
And speaking of NiP yesterday on Dust 2, there's definitely a couple of rounds in particular where they lost those B retakes through 3v3s where they were favourable. And it did seem to kind of maybe tilt them even a little bit. So, I mean, those kind of leaks, they can't be doing those against Mousesports.
Definitely, and we also saw a couple of good rounds from NiP on the T side, especially that execute with smokes towards the A bomb side and that set Molotov that explodes on top of the box, which forces the opper who's playing close to the ledge to move further back and be more exposed to flashes and generally the terrorists coming into the bomb site. What I need to point out again is Mousesports on their CT side, when they're anti-echoing, they give too much space to the T's coming into the A bomb site. They let them plant, which is something that you don't need to do if they only have pistols, especially if they don't have armor. And at times they even lost rounds because of it. They were giving away so much ground and taking too much time setting up for the retake that then they had to maybe, speed things up a little bit. It wasn't that well coordinated even, and I think that if they're to beat NiP, they can't allow mistakes like that. They can't lose those silly rounds against just pistols without armor. Otherwise, NiP will capitalize on it and punish them for their mistakes.
Yeah, Mousesports is one of those teams that is, for example, when NiP were playing Astralis, Astralis are a structured team, quite a tactical team, very individually skilled. They're a team where you probably won't see NiP really using force buys too much. I feel like Mousesports are a team where we might see NiP go for more risky stuff just because they're going to expect Mousesports to make some mistakes here. So I mean, generally speaking, looking at this NiP Mousesports dynamic, I see a lot of pluses for both teams. So I actually feel this is like really very hard to call. I mean, do either of you want to wager, a call here as to
calling Mouse?
Do you think Mousesports are going to take this? Do you think it's going to be a close game or a comfortable win? Or
depends on a lot of things. Depends on the pistols and so forth. I would expect it to be close. I don't think that NiP is that easily going to get blown out of the server. We saw it to an extent at Pro League, right, in their semifinal against Luminosity, but that was a case where both teams would win both pistols on their own picks and just have a strong showing from that point on. So I would expect it to be close, but I think that just Mouse is really good on this map, that they have it figured out, and they're really comfortable playing it, which is also super important because that means the players themselves have more confidence in their plays and in their moves, which is really, really important to actually make the play happen.
So James, for you as well, which is the team that you think will win, and what are the winning conditions that you're going to outline for that win to be possible?
I'm most curious about how Mousesports are going to play on their CT side around the double doors and how they're going to play people in a in city spawn and where they're going to put their AWPers if they go for one or more, because I feel like, you know, some people play double doors passively, for example, on the CT side, and I feel like if they do that, then NiP are going to exploit that a lot. So that's kind of, I think if Mousesports play passively, then maybe that is going to be decided on that half specifically. So I'm interested to see how that goes.
Well, we are into the match, so it's time for all our questions to be answered. NiP starting off on the T side, Mousesports on the CT side. And already, we see that typical aggression on Cat. It looks like NiP is sending 4 players into upper dark here, perhaps looking to catch any aggression and to be safe from any aggression on Catwalk or upper dark.
All right, well, we've got 2 players in around the doors for Mousesports so far, now moving to their respective sites with 1:30 on the clock. Pitt starting to find out if there's anybody in the short position, and again you can see NiP already going through the doors and trying to figure out what the setup is here of the CT side. It's hard for them to peek. They can't really peek all the way to the door. Well, never mind that. They are going to be charging the window. Next, pushing outside. They're going to have a 1 versus 1, which he's not going to win. chrisJ coming in from the back. The bomb has gone down. It's rolled all the way down the slope. T's have a man advantage, but the bomb has been completely lost. And now we've got chrisJ hiding behind a box of range advantage while his teammates can come in and cause shenanigans elsewhere. chrisJ with another shot onto Xizt, and that bomb being on the last man is going to cost NiP the round.
Wow, sick round from Chris, and I haven't thought about it that much, but Mouse is actually a really scary team in pistol rounds. chrisJ, especially with the USP, NiKo probably shouldn't even be mentioned at this point. And next as well, they're all really, really strong pistol players, so that's something that is a big advantage for Mouse in their games, and we see that, as Dan mentioned, that NiP decides to go for a force against Mouse here.
Yeah, and then we actually have grenades to go with the force buy as well. So it will be interesting to see how that actually culminates. It's only 1 smoke grenade, so I don't know that it will be super likely we'll see a play onto A, because I think plays onto A generally require more than 1 smoke. So it's more likely it's probably going to go to mid. We might see like a delayed B split here, I think. Would be my prediction if I was going to make one. But we shall see, as NiP more or less just holding sort of a default here to see if there was to be an aggression. And it is quite common in these rounds that you see CTs running up mid. So that's probably the reason why we're seeing such passive play at the opening stages. And indeed, now NiP, after giving it about 30, 40 seconds, they're going to push towards Catwalk in middle. But boom, there it is. chrisJ finds himself the headshot onto Get Right, and that is going to suck. But they still have the smoke on Forest.
Yeah, they're trying to duel now, and Forest almost moving through the doors with the bomb. Pitt's going to take chrisJ down in return, but that scout will be unretrievable. Denis is going to hold things down over there. Although he is the B man as well, so he's going to have to rotate back and forth. You can see Xizt looking for some info. And MP7, not the best gun from that range. Denis will definitely want a slightly closer engagement here, and he's going to get one through the double doors now from the NiP players. The numbers advantage working out, no trades necessary. Spitty coming in from CT spawn, both players in fact. One being planted open.
So indeed, we do see that B split, and it's going pretty well here. 3 kills, and that smoke is going to be delaying a lot of action from Mousesports. In fact, by the time that smoke goes away, it's with the positions Mousesports have, they're probably not going to go for this. So this force play is going to work very well for NiP, despite that initial kill onto Get Right from chrisJ, which was very, very important, but it ended up not being enough to leverage Mousesports into the round.
Look at that, NiP hunting on a force buy round versus a full buy round, more or less, from Mousesports. It's a weird situation. They're not going to challenge long because they do not have the weaponry to do so.
And by the way, actually, for those of you watching, you know, NiP really showed the value here of what it can mean to have, instead of all Tech 9s, you know, P250 armor and having 1 smoke and 2 flashbangs. Because with 1 smoke and 2 flashbangs, you can get a play like a B split going, for example.
So Mousesports will force straight back. The scout continues on to chrisJ. So you know, this is one of those situations where if NiP were to lose this round, well, with most teams, there'll be a fair chance they might force back again, but you never know. Although they have picked up 2 AKs in this round, NiP, so they'll have less money than they otherwise might. Oh, Friberg down to 10 HP. So he's going to have to throw that AK over to one of his teammates, so his team can get the most use out of it. Going to try and force some CTs back. He might be trying to finish him off.
No one's checking the... Oh, sorry, I thought there was someone in pit. I completely mistaken James. I'm seeing ghosts.
The CTs are pushing short as the Ts are taking long. The smoke's down as well. Getting tagged through the smoke. Friberg still rolling with the AK and 10 HP, which means that has something to play into later. Get gets taken down though, so Mousesports get their first frag on the board. Xizt planting to the bomb for platform where Friberg is, taking a frag onto Denis with an off angle. chrisJ closes the scout, that could be a problem.
Yeah, this is looking actually not too bad here for the CTs, getting the frags and damage in there, but they need to actually close on some of these kills. Forest and Friberg really weak, and Spitty, he can't get in there. His teammates weren't able to push up far enough for him to get any real positioning onto the bomb side, and he's going to just back away instead, which is the smart play. But it means that NiP will hold on in this round with 4 players left alive, and that is ridiculous right now because Mousesports obviously have been reset. This is going to be a situation where they force bought, so it's going to take them a series of ecos before they can properly buy again, and that's best case scenario if you're a team like NiP, where you've got those really comfortable and drilled anti-eco rounds. Spitty might even die. Oh no, he's going to die to the MP7 of Xizt as well, so can't even hold on to his rifle. And oh my goodness, dire straits for Mousesports. This is not the start you wanted.
I was literally about to say that. Not the start they wanted. Definitely not. It's a mirror of the previous map. Win the pistol, lose the force. And now they will be on a complete eco, a complete and utter eco. 5 USPs here. They will be lambs to the slaughter. When you go to one of those like laser quest games, the person who comes last, you get these kind of printed statistics sheets afterwards, which look like receipts. And the guy who performs the worst always gets lamb to the slaughter on his, which is quite hilarious.
Nice. I've only played one of those once, ever. Didn't work very well.
Once is better than 0 times.
Yeah, my gun didn't work very well, James. It was faulty.
Well, your laser gun didn't work very well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a laser, like surely it works or it doesn't. Or was it like bending around corners or something?
Well, it's going to be the cleanup there for NiP, not losing a single player, and Mousesports can get a buy-in. The problem is though, it's not going to be the best buy in the world. It won't feature much in the way of incendiaries. We won't see many kits. 1 kit. So there's 1 kit at least. That's something. And it's interesting that chrisJ actually could have gone for an AWP, but then his team would not have had any kits. And look how light they are on grenades. It's very, very hard to play this map with almost no nades as the CTs.
It's an interesting choice if he really did sacrifice an AWP just to get a kit.
He has helmet as well. So anyway, chrisJ's going to get challenged there 1 for 1. That's not really good enough for the CTs. And that's going to leave NiKo pretty much alone on this bomb site. And we know that NiP can Molotov this, although it's just 1 Molotov that they have in them at the moment. It's just on Friberg. Friberg does know all the mollies, I think, towards slope or towards the actual bomb site as well. So let's see if he's going to be throwing that. He is there. I think he's getting his I think his molly's in his hand right now. Or it was for the moment. There it is. And there's the molly for sights. So NiKo can't stand behind the headshot box. He's on the slope instead. A very good position as well. But what can NiKo get done? He's got to go huge here for his team. And he's going to get shot in the back. Actually, it's very smart for him to actually just pre-fire around the corner there as he was going to get blinded. But bomb goes down. More frags to Mousesports, but only 1 actually. Next coming in from CT, able to take down Forest as well. Wow. Next is getting some work done here. 2 versus 1 now all of a sudden for Xizt with the Galil.
Well, the pop flash comes out. The bomb is planted for him. And Spitty will go for the hero defuse with next being Operation Human Shield. Oh, no wide peek from Xizt. And Spitty should have just enough time to get the defuse here. Next is fragging pretty well at the moment. A 3K in this particular round as well.
Really stepping up massively for his team. They were the first 3 kills for him in this half, but in the beginning of the round I felt Mouse was a bit too greedy. They boosted chrisJ, Cat, but had players long. They wanted to have control of Cat and Long at the same time, and that's just a bit too greedy, especially with the amount of utility they had, not even an op. So chrisJ just gets traded, and it's hard for the CTs to hold anything anymore. NiKo was alone in the bomb site, gets flushed out, but should have been around for NiP. Next manages to bring it back for Mouse. And again, a similar setup. chrisJ is just by himself on Cat. And again, he just gets traded 1-for-1.
And that's not good enough from that position. I mean, that's so weird. To see him have an AWP, maybe play the crate, wait for the pop flash, then peek or something, and then fall off safely. Then at least you get the kill and you're not traded. That's what you. CAD is so hard to hold as a CT. It's very hard to trade effectively here. Usually you will see teams only playing 2 players there, and sacrificing that long control, as Janko says. You pick between one or the other. You try not to take both, but that's going to be an opening for NiP in that sense. Despite losing a man themselves, they're going to love that trade every day. They'll take that every time.
And again, you can see NiP moving into mid, taking it for free. And now the split will be a big risk here, but Xizt is the only one coming through the tunnel, gets taken down. And again, next is a problem here for the T's. His teammate's gone down, but he's still holding on. He's got the USP, and he's wasting so much time here. Finally goes down, but is the rotation fast enough? He's wasted enough time for NiKo to come in and take Friberg down, leaving pyth in a 1 versus 2.
Yeah, but pyth is definitely quite decent in these clutch situations, although half HP, no grenades. And Mousesports will go when they have 2 players in position to sandwich pyth. And pyth is looking at the wrong place. Oh wow, he turns around just at the key second. What is this? pyth gets both kills. What a clutch there. It's as if he had his spidey senses were tingling right there. The snap right behind him onto Dark. Beautiful finish there from pyth. And that is a clutch that was much needed for NiP. And that's going to really set Mousesports back. Look at that money.
That was insane.
6 shot from pyth, especially onto NiKo. And again, this round was theoretically supposed to be Mouse's for the taking, but pyth with a great round ruins it for Mousesports. And it was good play from the B players, Nex and Denis. They were both towards the B bombs, so you can see how they let go of mid. They just focus on tunnels. They get rid of the Xizt, and then they can both focus on doors and window. They bought a lot of time, but it wasn't enough in the end.
So again, it's a clean-up operation here for NiP. It's quite amusing over towards B. I think it was Denis who was peeking. There's a pillar when you walk into B from a T point of view into tunnels, which you stand behind to. So if there's a push from the CTs or flashes, you are for the most part covered. And I think Xizt was there. No. Someone else was there, and Xizt was in lower tunnel, and then just ignored that guy and shot Xizt on stairs while his teammate was towards C1, which was kind of amusing. I'm sure he was a little bit tilted by that. But Nexus picks up an AK now, and it could have a little bit of a massacre here. Forrest gets taken down, and the game is up. They know, do Mousesports, what is coming now. There's only 2 of them left, though, and again, there's no armor. Get right, we'll have no fear, and take them both down. So a quick end to that round. 5-2 in favour of NiP, off to a very good start.
Well, it's just like Cobblestone. It's the ideal start once again for NiP on their T side, winning those very crucial rounds. I mean, they funnily enough, the one round where they had disadvantage there, where Mousesports were able to really outplay them towards that B site with Nex and so on. You know, pyth gets the clutch to kind of answer back for a previous round where Mousesports had a massive disadvantage, and Nex got the clutch. And back to the NiKos with those Deagles. Very, very nice.
Right now, Mousesports are experiencing the nightmare scenario when it comes to their economy, right? They win pistol, then lose the following round. Once they win a gun round, they get reset immediately after. And even their buys, when they get them, are not optimal. So now they go for a double eco, hoping to get an op on chrisJ at least. I'm not sure what NiKo's money situation is like, if he'll have enough money for it. Probably. Yeah, they will. They'll both have it. So.
Well, chrisJ's holding an angle, but surely he will be flushed out. I think he's been spotted now. USP kill for him, but he will finally be eliminated. So we've got the 5-7 and NiKo. Never mind what he's got. NiKo's alive, and he's coming for NiP. And indeed, with the money in tow, I was going to say worth going for, but it seems that NiKo wants to save. If he keeps his armor perfect, then he can buy a helmet with the AWP.
That's so sad.
Did he just like randomly spot that?
No, he knew that they hit the AK somewhere, so he was looking for it. But NiP dropped it in a place where it's impossible for him to recover it. So get wrecked and die now.
Ruthless.
So I do. Oh, never mind.
Okay, so
Are they going to go double AWP?
well, I mean, chrisJ finally can at least get an AWP, and that in itself, if he's going to play catwalk alone, if he at least plays it with an AWP from a better position, then they can do that.
This is a problem for Mouse because, okay, now they finally have a decent buy, but NiP has, I mean, obviously a very strong economy, and they're perfectly capable of beating Mousesports in rounds like these as well. It's actually one of the strengths of NiP when they have all of their equipment. Even if you have everything you need, they're still really proficient at beating you.
And this is exactly the kind of position I wanted to see chrisJ in. If you want to play catwalk, that's how you're most effectively, most efficiently going to do it. It's very hard to hold it even with 2 CTs because it's hard to fall back, but those positions chrisJ is playing from can be somewhat untradeable if you get the frag. So he gets, instead of 1 for 1, it's a 1 for none. And now it's NiP forcing the cat drop play back into the B split. It's been successful previously. They're going to test next. They're going to test Denis. The crossfire setup here from Car and from the back of the site. And it's going to work here. NiP, Friberg, Forest, GetRight all chiming in together to eliminate, to neutralize that defense from Mousesports. And now it's down to NiKo against 3 players. And once again, that nightmare scenario, you get the buy, and then NiP somewhat convincingly crush your round, even though you got the initial pick.
And this is just NiP reacting to what happened to them in that previous round where pyth was in a 1v2. They figured out that Mouse, when they're defending a B split, they stay in the bomb site and just try to clear out tunnels and focus on doors and window. So you could see NiP, as soon as they ran out of mid and smoked CT, they were flashing already over the B bomb site, and they managed to get the entry kills. And also Xizt, who was in that previous round a bit early coming out of tunnels. I'm not sure if there was anyone there this time around, or they were really delayed. So the players coming from mid basically cleaned out the bomb site, and it was a clean round after that for NiP.
Well, at least NiKo saved an AWP for chrisJ. He's going to give it to chrisJ, very generous.
And that's why you need to have multiple setups on every bomb site. I mean, not just on B, but that's why you need to be able to switch things around so that your opponents can't just react to what you did in one round and then counter you later on.
The amount of 1Ds that's coming is absurd. Like this whole week, just 1Ds galore.
I mean, if you're NiKo as well, it seems like he gets at least one every time he has a deagle. It looks like he gets at least 1 frag with it. So that's a pretty good. That investment is always worth it. Let's see if he can do that. So obviously, we had one on the B there already. Let's see if NiKo can get his 1D. Yeah, there it is. Straight to the head of GetRight. Just snaps to him. As if GetRight had like a magnet straight to his face, attracting those deagle shots. I don't know. But there is the one and done from NiKo.
I mean, it's all nice and funny and everything, but they don't need 1Ds, Dan. They need rounds. They desperately need rounds.
It's fun for us, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us at least, we are winning as well.
And the viewers.
Yes.
Of course.
Right then. Mousesports back on the bye. So we'll see if they can get back to winning ways. Again, only 2 rounds on the board here. I also noticed when NiP are going through mid, they're putting 2 smokes down into this position here. I'm wondering what the second one's for. Obviously, it is to obscure someone's vision. It does seem to go over towards, not this position, but the opposite one. There's the second one you see going in just there.
Will they molly NiKo, though? Because if you don't molly this position, this is what happens. NiKo, he's going to get the frag eventually. Wow. Everyone got wrecked, James. Everyone got wrecked. But I don't understand why people don't check that position more. Or wallbang it. I think I saw Hiko just straight up wallbang that position with a rifle before. And we've seen people molly it as well before. I think Liquids molly that and they wallbang it. So we don't see enough people do that.
And that small adjustment completely dismantles NiP's B split. They always throw 2 smokes in that. I think maybe they thought that smoke will negate him or something.
I feel like they put one near the box on the opposite side. So if people are boosted on the Xbox that's in CT spawn, maybe it's to obscure vision over there, because it seems to be going in that direction as opposed to NiKo's direction. But the thing is, if they're going to, you could see NiP. I thought they would probably try and go through middle, and indeed they are. But if you have a HE, for example, if you have a HE and you get it specifically for that box, if you bounce it over the ceiling, then you're going to hear if someone's there, because it's going to collide with them, and then you can spray them down afterwards. So I think there's more that can be done in that position, because Molotovs are going to be inconsistent because of the nature of the smokes and how random they are thrown 90% of the time, if not more. Anyway, both teams will continue on the bye despite the victory there for Mousesports. Quite a clean one. I think they had 4 people surviving, which is critical for them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They can definitely mount something from this position. Although there's nobody on catwalk for them to either spot or get a quick untradeable kill. There's NiKo below, and actually NiKo could be in a really good position if they try to go for this this set piece we saw yesterday, where they.
Is this a set Molotov from pyth? Yeah.
Exactly. And there it is. We just saw it there. The tail end of it landing on the box. And chrisJ, he's smoked off. There's nothing he can do. There's no frags there. There's 5 players still alive for both teams. And it seems now NiKo's going to go down. All the trading will happen as the bomb site gets finally fully taken by the T's. And the bomb is planted. Forest in position to take down chrisJ. And now it's a really favorable situation for NiP, but just takes a sneaky frag or two. Next being good for those. And there's the first one. Forest up from the barrels, trying to trade positively for his team. And it's all going to be left to Next once again. He's going to go for the defuse. Does he realize that he can just hold this? Is Next just going for the hold? Yes, he is. Aguero's too far away. And that's the round there. Next once again coming to the rescue. 3 kills on these retakes from unfavorable positions. Next is the hero that Mousesports need.
Yes.
And yet another buy coming out for the NiP site. But the money is finally starting to dwindle as we move into the last rounds of the first half. So Mousesports with a great opportunity now to have a good recovery in this half, which could have been potentially a lot worse, especially if they had lost that particular round. But here we are, 8-4. And 8-7 is possible for the CTs. They're playing pretty close over towards B, which makes me wonder if they're going to choose a push. And that's the pillar I was talking about earlier, that you'll often find T's camping behind. Oh, that nade. Just in your ear, son. He's got 40 HP left. And he's seen no one.
Well, NiKo, he might see somebody. We could have potentially a pop flash play through the doors to get the close player. And wow, Next is going to be peeking there to save NiKo, but they know NiKo's there. And they're going to use a Molotov. Oh dear, that's unfortunately going to fail. It wouldn't have done anything anyway. NiKo was out of that position. And perhaps a waste of a Molotov there in the end. But we'll see whether or not Mousesports can actually push forwards an advantage, because NiP's initial plan here was blown up slightly. Now they're going to go for 3 players through the upper dark area. The first kill won by Denis as the challenge for the trade comes in. It's good. And Mousesports are going to be decimated towards the B bomb side here, losing NiKo as well. chrisJ and Spiddy. Can they get this done?
I wonder if they're... Okay, so it seems they... I'm not sure. It doesn't feel like they know if they're going to go for it or not. So I think they kind of want an early pick, but they're not going to get one, and therefore they are going to make their exit. I like the setup over towards mid from the CCs. NiKo facing and his teammate avoiding the flashbang, popping out to make the save if necessary.
I like I mean, it's quite cool because we saw a really fast adjustment from NiP, because I think NiP wanted to go out mid with much more players. But after all of that chaos, they immediately just switched for 3 players in upper dark instead, and 1 kind of on the lurk there. So it's a cool in-the-moment adjustment from NiP, and it seemed to work out for them.
And also they killed Next. They knew where NiKo was, and they know that Next is one of the B players, so there's probably 1 guy left in the B bombs. And this is why it's so hard to play against NiP. You win 2 gun rounds in a row. One of them is flawless without a plant. They still have a perfect buy with all the grenades and an op, and they managed to take the round from Mousesports, who are now in turn on an eco. Yeah, they're ecoing. Only the 2 players have saved weapons, and next spot, Keller.
Well, NiP may be expecting some aggression based on this weak buy. NiKo making loads of noise over towards long, but there is a push coming in towards short here from NiP. So pyth going for the raw peaks, and NiKo will get taken down in isolation. Although Spiddy is trying to hide, but he's been... No, now the split coming in though. Long given up, and Get Right will make the save for his teammate. You see Next putting in a bit of work there, but again, he's got many people coming in his direction. So it's chrisJ versus Sweden, and he may want to try and hold on to his AWP for the next round. 4 versus 2, neither player near the site. This is going to be a save at least for chrisJ. Denis with basically nothing to lose here. We'll try and get a cheeky frag and pick up a weapon. Gets the frag, but can he reach that weapon? Not anymore. And now he can again, almost.
Yeah, so smooth sailing here for NiP overall. They've not had too many troubles. It's after losing that pistol round. Janko highlighted it pretty correctly. They sent Mousesports into this horrible cycle of just terrible economy, and instead, now we've got this 10-4 situation can very realistically go to the 11-4 here for NiP. Mousesports, if they're able to pick up that 5th round, I have full confidence that they are able to have a strong T side as well. And NiP, we did see them, missing some shots a little bit and losing some favourable situations yesterday. So it's absolutely doable, much more than on a cobblestone, for example, in my opinion. Here for Mousesports.
Yes, and Mouse did have a couple of great comebacks on this map, most notoriously against Fnatic, as just gets a kill through the smoke there, pre-firing the angle.
The timing.
Yep, and NiP just setting up for a fast B split, it seems, yet again.
This time they're putting the Molotov down before the smokes go down to make sure the anti-flank position is cleared. Nex is still alive though, and he is always a problem for the opposing side. He's going to go get taken down by Friberg while the rest of his team push the A side. There's one more to find, and that is going to be quite a violent clear out there for the NiP side. So we have another 11-4 half for the Swedish side.
Yeah, that was a real confidence round there from NiP, and it must be so tilting to just lose a player in the smoke like that, and obviously NiP, you could really see in that round, everybody seems to be kind of feeling it at this point. So it's going to be tough to play against that. The momentum can definitely shift if Mousesports are able to pick up yet another pistol round, and it does seem like they're very good at doing that. And NiP are very good at losing pistol rounds lately, so that's not too far-fetched to see. And that's the win condition there. They absolutely need to win that, and they can't keep losing these forced by situations as well. NiP are likely to go for against Mousesports when they're so many rounds ahead. Typically, I think threats of the school of thought that if you're really far ahead, just get as many buy rounds as possible. But against Mousesports, it might be a different approach, just because they feel like they can get more edges, and because all the players are feeling really hot right now for NiP.
Are you feeling hot, Dan?
No, actually, I'm wearing shorts, so feeling pretty.
But it was 20 degrees today. Actually, it was 19.
Is it still?
I was going to walk to the studio, but then it rained. And I actually managed to get an Uber. The first driver I got moved after only 10 minutes of me waiting for him. After he realized I'm not ever going to cancel.
Scumbag Uber drivers around the studio. Right, we're getting into the second half now. Obviously, Mousesports are in a better situation in the fact that this is perhaps more of a balanced map than Cobblestone, where they had only 4 rounds. But of course, their pistol skills will be required in this round as well. So we have 4 Kevlars. We have 5 USPs for the NiP side. That is a smoke for Xbox, but which is being set up. That will only aid NiP in this situation, since Denis won't be able to do anything from lower tunnel now. Although he hears the shots, he hears the quiet shots of the USPS, and the CTs will move back. They're not going to overextend. Denis looks to be hunting though, and meanwhile Mousesports have taken long. So they seem to be getting into position for an attempted split here, but there are 3 CTs on short, all spotted now, but Denis and Nex don't care. They don't give a monkeys.
They definitely don't give a monkeys. We have now just everyone dying. You threw to me, James.
But as I do, Dan, I like to throw it to you when there are probably about 2 seconds left of the round.
Yeah.
The thing here is that Mousesports had a clear plan to split the A bomb site, and NiP was going for some early aggression towards Cat, but then they started falling back, but at that point they already lost control of long, right? So Mousesports had great timing while NiP was trying to reset towards Cat and have all 3 players there, so they managed to catch them basically in the middle of their setting up and just run over them with Glocks, and the all-important pistol round goes the way of Mousesports, and we see yet again NiP doesn't decide to force, which is good.
Yeah, on the CT side, they want the moolah, the money. I've forgotten all the other ones I normally say.
It's also I always feel like this is one of the hardest maps to ever play a force buy on as the CTs, especially if the other team has any understanding of playing the anti-force buys. It's so hard to do anything, and Friberg might get a good timing here, but he will get shut down, it seems, by NiKo. Good presence of mind there from the man NiKo.
Especially if a team plays it correctly, like Mouse has now.
Yep.
They had a good spawn towards long, they secured it, and then just went together as a team, used the Molotovs to clear out the only close corners you have around those boxes in the A-bomb side. And after that, they have the advantage with the AKs, long range, they can go for those aim duels together, of course. And you can see that the round is secured without much effort, basically, but they're still hunting for kills.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, actually. It's like, NiKo's on 5 HP. Just keep re-peeking NiKo. Why not? And this is the weird thing as well, because I mean, there's no real argument to, even if they had Kevlar helmets and so on, there's still no argument to risk dying. Like, the amount of value you're going to take away from them is never going to equal the amount of value you're going to lose. And that's more important, I think, especially for Mousesports in this situation.
Exactly. Because the end game is, even if they save the armors all the way towards the gun round, I mean, even if you lose the gun round, but you still kill at least 3 players on the CT side, with the rebuy and with the drops, they're going to be on a... They're not going to have any money left if they lose the round. And you, obviously, by not giving away kills in the second and third round, you're probably going to have 8k in the bank when the first gun round actually comes. So in the grand scheme of things, it's always more worth for you to have a strong economy than it is to chase kills because you want to deny them armor, which they're saving, and pistols.
Yeah, it's pretty bad when you see kind of those sorts of repeats from NiKo there, or the frag hunting. Either way, it's going to be time for Mousesports to just close this A side take. They have to actually pump the bomb still, and strangely, NiP are already getting close to the bomb side here. This is a bit dangerous. Losing players, getting weak with quite a few, but they'll only lose Spiddy in the end, so that's a decent result. But again, it would be much better had they won with 5 players in the previous round, which they very realistically could have done. Another buy will come in for NiP, and you can see that they are going to spend everything in the bank here, get the AWP onto Pit, and we'll likely see him playing the car position towards the A site.
I like the development we've seen with NiP on their second eco round after losing the pistol on CT side, where they pick up a few HEs on certain maps and have kind of some delayed places. You saw Next got naded down to less than 20 HP early on in that previous round, so they still give themselves chances to do considerable damage with very minimal investment, which will miss most of the time. But then again, based on the level of investment, maybe sometimes it will prove profitable. We have already seen them cause havoc on some other rounds after losing the pistol early on in this series. So Mousesports with 3 people in T-spawn at the moment, rotating over towards long, where they don't have any vision, which might be why things are a little bit slower at the moment. chrisJ just moving into suicide with the AWP. Minutes on the clock, and we'll see what kind of timings Mousesports are playing here on Dust 2. Seems they want to venture into mid and see what's going on here with the CTs. Xizt holding a smoke in his hand, so that's pretty good. If they throw a Molotov in, then he can defuse that straight away. He's relatively safe there for the time being. Forrest is covering him as well. And indeed, I think maybe that position from Xizt is maybe what the other smoke was for that NiP were throwing. Either way, NiKo gets taken down. But the plan is not really revealed here for Mousesports. 4 men moving into long. Friberg going to be able to flash in himself and do some damage, finally getting taken down. 4 versus 3 though, and all these Ts again are just stuck in long behind smokes.
Yeah, this is a massive issue because with the remaining time that they have, how do they work their way out of this position? Pit's going to take down 2. Oh, they're jumping there to force the miss, but there's nothing you can do there, and it's going to be Mousesports just leaving themselves with nowhere to go in that round.
You know what? They're out of time then.
Why is that, Janko?
Because they spent a minute not doing anything.
Why is that, Janko?
I don't know, they were maybe expecting a push from NiP, but NiP is hardly going to push with losing the pistol round in the first gun round to go for some crazy aggressive plays. So once they started like throwing the smoke on Xbox and going for some map control, it was already a minute left on the clock.
Well, now they're going for a fast break towards along with the entire team, and still nobody down for the CTs just yet. We've got T's pushing the smoke, but they're going to get orbs by pyth. He's covering the angles here. chrisJ now emerging from the smoke, taken down as well. Friberg will be lost, not before getting some frags himself. 2 versus 1 now, left down to Denis with 30 HP towards long. This is absolute carnage. Got to get right on a very long rotation. Bomb being collected here by Denis in the pit, however. I'm not sure if pyth is holding an aggressive angle on the pit. That could be fun if I continue with pit and pit.
But you can see that the impact of Mousesports losing only a couple of players in those anti-eco rounds. In the first gun, after losing the first gun round, they have 2 players on pistols and 3 AKs without a lot of grenades. It's important to realize that if a player dies, he's not only hindering his own economy, he's probably hindering his teammates as well, because he gets a drop, right? And he spends most of his money buying armor and nades. The other player spends most of his money on the gun he dropped. So,
no nades for him.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a really big deal. I mean, that's, again, something that NiP have highlighted, just exactly what is possible if you are very disciplined in that regard, and you do play with that economy always in mind. And NiP are going to steal away this round from Mousesports. That's the 13-7, and it's not a good time here for Mousesports to get.
What is this? Didn't you? Like, some players forced, others didn't.
That is really weird. That is super weird.
Or I think
NiKo
everyone bought, but people had money in the bank they could have dropped. Or it's just really weird. Some miscommunication there, probably.
And they are going to actually pause for a minute, our Mousesports, to perhaps discuss something. What are they going to be talking about?
World politics.
Are they going to buy as a team or not? They have money for an op. Denis can drop it to Chris. But NiKo already bought a flash and P250, so that's implying that they actually want to go for a quasi-buy, perhaps.
Do you drop him in the deagle? Oh, well. Let's see what they can muster. Indeed, the AWP will be coming out, and Denis, he's got some Kevlar as well. So everyone's buying down. So what is NiKo going to just stop with the P2? Okay, the rest is coming out now as well. It all makes sense.
I mean, he would have probably bought a deagle if this was a force from the beginning, because he has a P250 and $500 left. Could have gotten a deagle for that amount, or even a Tech 9. Can still get a Tech 9, but never mind. Chris has a good long spawn, and he's going for the peak then.
Here it is, gets the flick as well, but there's also nades here from NiP, so they'll still be able to force these T's away from the choke point initially, although pyth's actually moved all the way back towards the bomb side on A because Long is lost, doesn't want to risk it. And that's pretty, that's a smart way to play this. The AWP is still in the hands of chrisJ as he decides what to go for here. And pyth's actually moved all the way up to support Catwalk. This is really smart actually. Lose Long, just reinforce Catwalk, and hope that you can trade very positively there if the T's go there. And even a forward angle. Ooh, I wonder if pyth was spotted. It doesn't seem like he was.
NiP reacting by pushing B with Cat's right. So now they have map info, which will allow for Forest to rotate towards A as well. And seeing as pyth still doesn't have any contact, they probably know that Mousesports is long at this point.
And if they can slow them
Mousesports
down,
again too slow Dan.
Yeah,
they need to move.
If they can slow them down from actually taking the A bomb site, I don't even know if NiP have to slow them down. They're moving so slowly themselves. That flank is already caught up with them. So this is a massive issue that they don't even realize yet. GetRight is looking to just shut this round down. And chrisJ is pivotal in this round, that he survives, and GetRight is just going to easily execute him, take him down out the round. The pop flash comes in. GetRight even gets the second kill. Pop flash not required, as he does finally get taken down. But with removing the presence from Long, that's what Mousesports were playing for. And now they need to make do with Nex and Denis from the bomb site with a shoddy plant. And this is going to be tough here for Nex.
Shorts firmly in control of the CTs, and Forest and Xizt will move to Long to go for the split here. pyth going to run destruction now, but he's going to get taken down by Nex. We must realize the split is in. Forest gets taken down on platform with very low HP. So the question is, where is Xizt? He can't get enough taps onto Xizt. He'll take the round, and might have time to rescue the AWP as well after the defuse. So 14-7, NiP double their score versus Mousesports.
And imagine what happens there as well if GetRight's not able to push. If GetRight doesn't have the extra 5 or 6 seconds that he does to get that flank set up.
That is pretty nutty.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. I mean, it's a great play from NiP, of course, because they got the information so quickly. They played for that risk because they lost a player. So that's a very smart play to go for. But yeah, Mousesports is going to be on a weaker buy. They do have all rifles, though. No AWPs in sight and very, very low amounts of grenades here. So you would probably expect a B play just because they're so limited on grenades. It's much harder to play for the positions on long. Much easier to play into mid or into the B bomb site. There is the initial flash over the top. Nice little flash there from Denis. Good angle for Forest, however. Oh, the nade. Oh, there we go. But Forest can actually push forwards there. Didn't realize they were so far forward themselves. And that's going to be the smoke for the B split. And here it comes.
Yeah, no, the CTs are rotating already. Get right outside a two-man spray down. Can't get the third. Just about chrisJ surviving. That's the bomb as well. Next stopping Xizt from stopping the bomb. And the bomb is going to get planted. 2 versus 2 though. NiP have put themselves in a great position to come in for the retake here. Few flashes on the team as well, both coming in from door and window. Nobody towards the tunnel.
Yeah, chrisJ's on 16 HP. He's taking a position where he can hopefully get an engagement where he's going to get the drop on somebody, but it's going to be very hard for him. And the smoke, forward smoke, that's very smart there by NiP. There's no nades here for the T side. That's one of the reasons why this round was going to be hard, but chrisJ makes the frag there, all down the pits, can't trade, and that's the round there for Mousesports. Very nicely done in the end with the low utility that they had. They made the right call, and they executed it well.
They basically just reacted after getting that initial kill on Forest. They had 2 players there, smoked off CT spawn and just went for the sole player on B getter. It gets 2 great kills, but in the end, chrisJ in the asset plan situation secures the round. And right now, NiP are back on a NiKo. They still have a big lead, only need 2 rounds to win the game. So they want to have a healthy buy when it comes to the next gun round.
Indeed. And there's actually nothing on NiP. They're saving completely. And the funny thing there is actually, Geroi spotted everybody pretty much moving into the site and kind of got away as well. So NiP are trying to set up the exits here, but it's not going too well. Oh. D. The Deagle is out.
Well, this is awkward for Mouse because they're all in the tunnel where all the CTs are. And there's a CT in T-spawn. They can save where they're standing, actually. I'm not sure. I think in NiKo and Denis, they can all just stand in the tunnel. They'd survive. And now they're running back to the site. It's just getting awkward. Fortunately for them, there's nobody in CT spawn. And now the CTs are chasing them into the site itself. But Friberg's moved into position, so that was extremely awkward.
Yeah.
But
just forcing them all out there too scared. It reminds me of when, you know, Han Solo like runs at the Stormtroopers, just him, gets like 30 Stormtroopers just like screaming at them and then they start running away. It's like that kind of moment for me. Awesome stuff.
Do you think they were actually screaming on TeamSpeak?
Maybe, maybe.
And another eco for NiP. They really want all the grenades. It's also good when you look at how the rounds will work. So even if like NiP loses this round, it's 14-10. If they lose the gun round, they will still have 3 really healthy gun rounds at 14-10, 14-12, and 14-14 if they eco in between. So I guess that's what they're thinking as well. And you can see a really simple setup with a couple of nades and P250s. If Mouse actually decides to go B,
this is amazing.
It can be detrimental for them.
Pit's the only one facing. Oh, but it's a problem. NiKo's coming in from the back. That is a serious problem. How do they use his HEs now? I mean, that setup was beautiful though. And I would like to see that get used one day. So now NiKo has an idea as to what's going on and the HEs will slowly be deployed. But there really isn't that much investigation going on over towards A. Long is in control of the Ts and they will indeed realize what is up. The game is up for NiP and they will exit B. But that was cool. Pit facing, 3 people just holding nades in their hands. As soon as Pits engages, someone is getting sent nuclear. But not today. Today it will be a plant over towards the A bomb site and the Ts will have all the range they want versus this eco. And now it's over. NiP back on the bye, back with a good loss bonus as well, should they continue to lose with a 4-round lead. Double ops.
Mouse is pretty comfortable as well when it comes to economy. So now we have, almost full gun round versus gun round. We see that the oppers on NiP, they decide to go for double op. They're lacking on nades, so this is where it comes to who can outplay their opponents, basically.
Yeah, and Mousesports have done really well to get this far, considering all the horrible spots they've had to deal with. Got to give them credit for how far they've managed to take this, and they still have this opportunity. Now, playing passively at the start of this round, perhaps going for that pop flash into middle. Get themselves... you always want to clear out a player. If there's a player close to these doors, you always want to clear him out. It can be done pretty effectively. Also, you get if you go for a bit more of a peek towards CT, you get a lot of information as well as to the setup. But here's the peek. Oh, Forrest seeing a shoulder there, trying to time the shot. He's actually going to go deeper in the angle. Unexpected play, but at the same time, the long push comes in from Denis, and Forrest gets the flash from a teammate. There's a snap, but the trade can be set up. But Forrest takes down NiKo. No trade for Mousesports. And what are they going to do now? They're down to 2 players. NiP would be on match point if they were to win this round. Spitty's got to go for a big play. He's not been all that loud on this map so far, being pretty quiet instead, and he's going to have to get one of these picks, but he can't. It's down to chrisJ, but left on 11 HP. What is he going to be able to do in this position? 40 seconds to play with, gets the ability to plant the bomb, but the CTs are close, and he knows it, and there's not much for him to do. Good effort, but 15-10 for NiP nonetheless. Match point.
I mean, the idea for Mousesports there was to try and fake that they're going for long and then just go for a mid to B split. But the problem is they didn't use a lot of grenades for that. Not for the fake, but for the part of when they were going out mid, and the Forest's position with the op completely countered them there as they're going now for a fast long take. And they burn, James.
They are indeed. It is another barbecue, but Sunday roast was yesterday. 5 versus 3. And things not boding well for the Mousesports side. Not much you can do with 3 people versus 5 in terms of executes and such. There are 2 smokes and 2 Molotovs here for the Mousesports side. Are they going for a run boost, or this seems to be... Oh, they kind of got there. Very nice. So Pick gets taken down. A desperate measures and desperate times kind of situation, but one player has been lost, and that's NiKo. That's the big player for the Mousesports side. Bomb getting planted, but the CTs have long, and they've got CT as well, so this is not going to be easy for Mousesports.
It certainly is not going to be an easy one. chrisJ looming over the CT area there, and gets a quick snap there onto long, so all of a sudden, doable situation, but next tag down to 12. Life gets hard here with that AK-47 going for the taps, gets eliminated by Xizt. That's going to be the final elimination required by NiP. They'll pick up the defuse and the series. So NiP, with that, will be top 2, if I'm not mistaken.
They'll be up there for sure.
They'll be up there. We'll be reviewing those rankings right at the end of the show to see who has made the playoffs and who will go directly to LAN. But NiP put themselves in a great position. And I mean, honestly, to get a 16-10 out of how Mousesports started into this Dust 2, I feel like Mousesports did do a lot of stuff right.
They won the pistol and then they lost the next 3 rounds. So I would say it didn't really work out for them at the beginning.
Definitely not, and the same thing happened for them on Cobble. So the difference between them and NiP in this game was that when that happens to NiP, they decide to go for double eco, so that they have really good buys when they actually come to the gun round. While on the side of Mouse, they were forcing more, and even in the rounds that they didn't buy completely, they bought pistols, armor on some of the players. So it all has an effect in the long run. Granted, it's much harder to go for double ecos in the first half, perhaps, because you're not sure how the half is going to end up. Like for NiP, having an 11-4 score, they knew exactly how many rounds they need to take. And actually, you know, even though in the end it looked comfortable, yes, the scoreline was closer because NiP ecoed a lot of times in the second half, but it shows how by playing it safe, right, playing the percentages, not forcing, not putting yourself in bad spots, because there's no reason for you to force. You have 11 rounds in the first half, you only need 5. So NiP was patient enough to go for those double ecos. Then in the gun rounds, they had the ops, they had the grenades on their players, and you could see how it paid off. If Forrest in that situation has an M4, not an op, maybe he doesn't play in that spot at all. Maybe Mousesports fake works for them, and we have a much closer game. So props to NiP for having the patience, the composure, and the discipline, and they really had a great showing in this match.
Absolutely, and that's what we expect. James, did this match go to your expectations, generally speaking?
Yes, because I expected NiP would try to abuse Mousesports by going through double doors, and they did that successfully repeated times. You know, eventually Mousesports were able to adjust, but didn't really. The defense didn't last long. Again, you saw it was 11-4 to NiP on that side. So I thought if they could do that successfully on NiP's T side, then I thought that would be a key for them to win at least that half. And they did, I mean, that wasn't the only thing they did, but they did that to great success, moving over towards the B-bomb side. So I would say so.
All right, well, we are running a match concurrently, so I remind you guys to check out the Score Esports. I mean, if you're watching the stream, you want to find out what's going on, you can check that on your phone, and you can go grab it on your respective app store. But we actually will be going for a little bit of a break, and when we come back in, I think, roughly 2 hours' time, if I'm not mistaken, we'll be featuring NiP versus G2. And for me, that's going to be a bit of that's the highlight for me, because G2 have been playing super well. I mean, do you guys have any reasons to be particularly excited for that G2 NiP matchup that we have next?
One taps.
The one taps. And you, Janko, just the one taps?
Well, these two teams didn't get to play each other at Pro League. They just didn't meet. So I'm excited to see how, again, that clash of styles is going to work.
All right, well, it seems like we might try to get it started a bit sooner. But otherwise, guys, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back as soon as we can with G2 and NiP.